is complete. You can see that I have created the backup point and reloaded the model, or excuse me, reloaded the QGZ and the geo package into QGIS. So we can start lesson 3, which is create a storm drain using shapefiles. So this is the #1 best process to create a storm drain system with Flow2D. It's the one we recommend. So let's get to the data we'll need. There are 3 shapefiles in our lesson 3 folder, and there is a rating table because one of our inlets is a type 4 inlet, requires a rating table. I'm going to go ahead and go to the step-by-step instructions. So open the file from lesson 1, import the 3 shapefiles, select the components from the shapefiles, and calculate the storm drain setup. Import the rating table, there's only one, schematize the storm drain data, export the SWIM IMP file, export the project data, and run the simulation. So let's get down to where we need to be. Here's our 3 shapefiles we want to load, and this step is a little bit different than other steps you've seen so far. So please pay attention to this next step. Now, before we do any importing, we need to we need to activate this layer right here because we want our data to go right on top of it. Then we can pull lesson 3 over and open storm drain shapefiles from lesson 3 window, grab the 3 shapefiles. I'm using a control click and then just drag them and drop them straight onto the map. If you want to see how to set these shapefiles up, this is very easy. You can just come into here and check out these layers that attributes that are required with these layers. But we're only using kind of the bare minimum, like only round pipes, and I didn't set up any kind of losses or anything, but all that stuff is really easy to set up, and all of the calculator works for just about any kind of data you can pop in here. So storm drain editor, we want to click select components from shapefile. Start with the 3 tabs, inlets, outfalls, and conduits. We'll start with inlets, and mine are already set up because I already did this, so you might want to pause the video right here or go back to the manual, fill in these fields, move on to outfalls, do the same thing, fill in the fields, move on to conduits and fill in the fields, and then click assign. The next time that you go to do that, you won't have to fill in the fields again, which is actually really handy. It's just telling you that it's finished and that it created some stuff in the layers group, and now you can schematize the components and export the data to get it. All right, so we got to go back to the manual because I have to look up the main layer. Okay, so it says uncheck the schema layers. That'll turn off the grid. Uncheck the Google image. That'll clean up your map a little bit. Drag the data in. Now there's a description of how these files are set up and what to do, what kind of data they need, where they have to go. This is important that they have to go here. You can open the attributes and look at the data. The data that is in these shapefiles is going to be saved to the SWIM INP and the Flow2D storm drain data files. And here's just some of the potential attributes that these shapefiles can need, and the required versus not required. Okay, and again, mine were only circular, so we only have our maximum depth is just the diameter of the pipe for the conduits. Okay, then we have selected components from shapefile. We already did that. Get down, we're done with all that. And now we can move on. So we need to check the simulate storm drain and then auto assign the conduit nodes. This is a pretty important step. So I'm going to click simulate the storm drain, and then I'm going to auto assign the conduit nodes. So what happens when you do storm drain is that your nodes, your pipes have to be connected to the inlets and outlets that they are near, right? So this button's going to do that for you automatically. So if you have a a node here and a node here, the map is going to find that node and it's going to insert it in the proper field for this conduit. And it's all automated. I'm not going to get into it, but things that are important, okay? See how we have these arrows that show the flow direction? It is important that your conduits are in the right flow direction. Now, what happens if they're not? How do you kind of fix that? Well, you can come over here and you can hit the editor, and then looks like I need another window here, and then you can add the advanced digitizing toolbar right here, and it has a cool little dude that will allow you to reverse that line. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm on the point. Hang on, I'm on the wrong one. I need to be on conduits. So if I click this and then click edit, and you'll see then it comes up with the digitizing tool for the conduits, and one of these will reverse the line. So if you mess one up and it's pointing in the wrong direction, you can just reverse it with this tool right here. And when you're building your conduits and nodes, I recommend using the snapping tool because that'll help you snap those together a little bit better. But if you are doing that with the snapping tool, set the snapping tool up to where it doesn't snap to the grid layer. You have all kinds of options here with the snapping tool and how to snap it to things. Super handy. All right, so we already used the auto assign, and the next step is to, let's move down, import the rating tables for the type 4s. So you can do this to as many tables as you need, as many type 4s as you have. You'll import them all at the same time. So if I click import rating table, I can go back to lesson 3, and I have, I guess it's in here, one table because I have one type 4, and that will import it and apply it to the correct table. Okay, next. So that is done. And it's really this simple. I mean, this is the best widget. This code is the best widget for storm drain editing that I've ever used. Schematize the storm drain components. Okay, that's the next step. That's this button here. And then we can take a look at the new layers we have and then export the INP and check the reporting step, click OK, and then check the control variables and export the data files and run the model. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. All righty, what we have here is a Schematize button. And now in the Schematize button, you should see that we have these guys are filled and the schema layer, oops, sorry, wrong one. And the schema layers are now in here too. And all the data is in the tables and ready to export. Export our swim. We want that to go here into the export folder. And there's already one in there because I was already doing this. I was already testing and trying to make the manuals better. So I'm just going to overwrite it. And you can see here that you can set this reporting step to whatever you want. Right now, it defaulted to the 0.1 hours that was set up in the cont.dat file. And everything else is default in this particular case. And let's go ahead and just click OK. And then we can run it. Let's see. Nope, can't run it. Got to check this. Getting ahead of myself. Make sure the storm drain is on. Let's see, I've got main channels, yes. Hydraulic structures, yes. Rainfall, infiltration, storm drain, and detailed graphics. Save. And I'm going to change that. Wait a sec. Wait. Where did that go? Sorry, let me try that again because I think I might have put that in the wrong place. Oh, I didn't export it yet. My goodness, this is ridiculous. I'm not paying attention. Sorry about that. Okay. I'm going too fast. I need to slow down a little bit here. Okay, that's fine. And you know what? Let's start over. Okay, so we did the schematize, and now we'll export the swim. And the cool thing about this widget is that you can do this as many times as you want. So as you add data, you'll schematize it, you'll export the swim. As you add the data, you'll import the other rating tables. If there's something in the way, it'll just overwrite it. You can do it as many times as you need. Click OK, click OK. And these are fine. We already checked them. Export, click OK. Oh, I see. It defaults you back to lesson 1. That's annoying. Okay, and select the lesson 3 folder. And then the new files we did: swim, flow, rating table, output, outfall, and click OK. Now, yep, you can see everything's in here and ready to go. And you got your swim INP and your swim INI. We will now run it. It's pointed to the right location. Just click OK. And then, of course, what we're doing, why we keep running this after every single time we do a data entry, is we're waiting for the project to run. If the project runs, we can kind of assume that we did it right, and then, of course, what I typically do when I'm doing a real project is I will come in and I will, after I do my channel, I'll do a channel validation, make sure the channel is running correctly. And then, that includes your hydraulic structures. And then after I put in my storm drain, you'll have to check your channels again, and you'll have to check your storm drains at that point. So after you do something and you run it while you're it's running while you're working on your other part of your project, but then you have to go back and do your inspections and your checks and fill out your checklist on that data that just completed, after you do lesson 1. That's kind of the key. So we're going to leave this running, and that takes us up to the end of lesson 3 and on to lesson 4, which would be buildings and walls and wall failure. So I will move this on out of the way, and this session is done, so I'll stop the recording here.